Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. And today with me I have Jeremy Tracey from Tracey Boards. How are you doing today?
I am fantastic and very excited to be here in Board Game Co. studio.
Board Game Co. Basement. This is a new camera angle for most of you over here. You can see everything from my computer setup over there, from all the stuff in the attic, that little area that I usually don't have to worry about whether it looks nice or not, but today it doesn't look nice, and that is what it is. But that's because today we're playing Crokinole, or having a conversation and playing Crokinole. There's going to be a semi-interview with a few less hot wings and a few more Crokinole shots, which is how I prefer it.
It's two of my favorite things, talking about Crokinole and playing Crokinole. So.
I actually don't know how much I talk about Crokinole. I'm more into playing Crokinole.
Okay.
But before we do, let's just dive into just a quick introduction. Jeremy Tracey, Tracey Board, just Tracey Boards, right?
Yeah.
Cool. For some reason, I want to say Tracey Board and Cards for some reason, but that's not.
Nope. Tracey Boards.
Just Tracey Boards.
Only boards.
Yes. We can get into cards later. But I'm going to ask you a whole bunch of questions about how and where and all those things because I'm curious about that. But just so you know, my own perspective, I've loved Crokinole since I first played it. I want to say around 9 years ago, I'm guessing somewhere around 9 years ago, I got a Crokinole board, I tried it, I fell in love with it, I adored it, and I loved my Crokinole board because my Crokinole board was the best. I've played other Crokinole boards, and I was like, my Crokinole board is the best. And then around a year ago, Jesse from Crokinole shows up with a board, he's like, this is Tracey boards, they're the best. And I'm like, yeah. I didn't like my Crokinole board quite as much after playing on a Tracey board. I had this desire at some point to just get a Crokinole board because I wanted to. And this one in particular, by the way, does have my logo on it, although it's not from me. This is designed by you, but from a patron who very generously gifted this, which is amazing because I definitely wanted one. And I was having a hard time justifying because I had an expensive board.
Right.
So it's like, I can go from nothing to expensive, sure, but I can't go from expensive to expensive.
Right.
So I was very happy that I got this, which thank you, by the way. I appreciate it, Kevin, if you're watching. But with that said, that's my background. So my background is I love Crokinole. I love Crokinole. I do, and this is the downside here, I am going to get destroyed today because usually the one redeeming quality I have in a game against you is Devin, and Devin's not here. Also, I primarily play 4-player, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. I will get destroyed, but that's not the point. And don't take it easy. Destroy me. Go for it.
Okay.
Do the best you can. We'll see.
I appreciate that. I never let anyone win.
Good.
There's different levels of trying, but I never let anyone win.
So a thing I regularly do, and kids I'll occasionally be a little adjusting, but in general and other things, let's say I'm playing one of my favorite games against somebody else, I'll try the best I can because I feel it's important. But I also sometimes want the other person to win. I'm like, I hope you win, but I'm going to try.
Right.
Yeah, and you're like, I'm just going to destroy you. In any case, let's go ahead and start this off. But I'm going to ask you some questions as we go. But do you want to go?
We're going to play and talk at the same time.
Oh, absolutely.
Cool. Do you want some playing?
Sure,
wax?
Let's do that. Yeah, I feel that's my only competitive advantage because you're good at the playing, I'm good at the talking. Between the two of us, maybe I could balance out.
I can hold my own with talking too. Don't you worry.
Oh, yeah. We'll find out. So I'm gonna because I'm worse at this than you. I'm gonna take the top shot first and just see what I can get. Nope, not quite what I need over there. So the goal of Crokinole as we go through this is we're trying to get our pulls into our pucks. Are these called pucks?
I call them buttons.
Buttons, okay.
There are people that like to call them discs because they think it sounds more professional. But I make videos too, and I have had to stop and restart so many times because I tripped over the word discs.
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 Oh, discs.
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 So I just call them buttons.
Buttons works. But basically we're trying to get our buttons into the center hole, ideally, because that's going to be worth 20 points, and more importantly, will be banked to the side, which means we get to hold on to it. Past that, anything at the end of the round, anything in the rest of this area here is going to be 15, then 10, then 5, with it always erring on the side of lower, so even if it's mostly in the middle of there, that's still going to be a 10-point button over there. Now, are we playing to 100, or are we playing to 9?
We can do either way. My preferred way to play is the tournament scoring.
Okay.
So that means that whether you win a round by 5 points or 100 points, you win that round.
Gotcha.
Every round is worth 2 points, and we can do a race to 9.
Let's do a race to 9.
That'll take the game.
Let's do that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I learned to say this super succinctly, especially after being at events like PAX. When it is your turn to shoot, if there's no opponent's button on the board, you have to play to the middle, which means it's in this circle or at least touching the line. If you don't succeed at that, it goes in the gutter and that's where it stays. If, when it's your shot, there's an opponent's button on the board anywhere, you have to contact that button.
Yeah, that's a good point that I completely forgot to mention. It's almost like you know this game.
Yeah, I've played it a little and explained it a little.
Okay, let's see how this... almost like you know this game. Okay, so now the question is, now this is a little hard to see. The problem is we're also playing with a bit of a handicap, although both of us are playing with a handicap, so it's a little fair, which is the fact that the table angle kind of doesn't necessarily lead as nicely into some of our angular shots. We're a little more restricted, but again, we both have that handicap, so let's pretend it's fair. I'm just kind of going to incline to knock you out entirely, although I don't know. We'll see how this goes. Okay. Okay, well that works. That works for me. I'm okay with that. Also, I'm very strategically placed my buttons, so that's annoying for you. Let's pretend that's on purpose.
Now, when we play in an NCAA tournament, there's something called the one cheek rule. You have to keep one cheek in the chair.
Yeah.
But whenever we're in a situation like this that is not exactly functional, personally, my rule is that we abandon the one cheek rule.
Oh yeah, I'm fine with that. Oh, gotcha. Yes, absolutely.
So yeah,
that's fair.
I can come all the way over to here. That is still a legal shot because I'm touching my shooting line and my quadrant. I can't go there because I'm not touching my quadrant anymore, but I can go here and still miss.
Now again, that is the handicap of the board over here, which does give me a slight advantage. Now, while we're at it, how did you get into Crokinole?
My mother sent me a photo a while ago of me at 19 months old sitting at a Crokinole board with my grandfather.
Wow.
Now, I'm pretty sure I was just chewing on the buttons. I probably wasn't sinking 20s.
That's still a legacy.
But yes, it was my grandfather loved games. And yeah, he introduced me to a lot of games, but the one that really stuck was Crokinole. So I have been playing as close to my entire life as what is possible.
Now, to my knowledge, Crokinole is originally... Oh, come on. To my knowledge, Crokinole is originally Canadian. Is that true? Do you know if that's true?
The first known Crokinole board was made in 1876 in a little town called Sebastopol, Ontario.
That's Canadian to me.
Yes, yeah, just outside of Tavistock. That's why we hold the World Championships in Tavistock, because it was like one concession. He was a wagon wheel builder, Eckhart Wetlaufer, and he made it for his son Adam's 5th birthday.
Was it originally supposed to be like a wagon wheel? Does it just go wrong?
No, I don't think so. No. Now, like the way I hear it worded is that that's the first known Crokinole board. Like,
sure.
I'm not sure how accurate the Crokinole history is, but
I mean, if the first one we know is the first one we'll go with.
Yeah.
Okay. So this one is, I don't love it. I can't hit it from there. I guess we're going to be doing this over here, hoping for the best on the shot. Okay, so that's your first known... That was a terrible shot. I should not talk while shooting, apparently. So that's your first known aspect of your own original Crokinole board. Ah, dear Lord. Okay, cool. Let me focus on my shot for a second. I hit yours.
You did.
I did hit yours.
Did. You've left me with an open board, so we'll see how the open 20s are.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay. Let's try to knock that off a bit. Okay. I'll take it. I still think I'm losing this particular round right now. I do think it's likely.
It's not, it's not looking super favorable. Oh. Lots of action off the pins there.
Yeah, at this point, your safest move is just shoot off the edge because that guarantees you the win. But I think you're fine either way.
So okay. That's worth 20. Those two are both worth 15. That's a 10. I think that one's a 5. It doesn't really matter because...
I can see you doing math as if it matters.
Right.
Yes. Okay. So that's your first introduction to Crokinole. Your first knowledge is 19 months. But I'm pretty sure you didn't decide to get into it then. So what was the next step for you?
So I played as a kid. I remember I think I was 7 or 8 when my parents got me my own board. So I didn't just get to play when I visited Grampy. But... So I played, but I grew up in Nova Scotia, and there was a few people around that played, but not a ton.
Okay.
And then it was when I moved to Ontario, and now this story gets super Canadian at this point. I was playing pickup hockey.
Okay.
And it was after the game, we're sitting in the dressing room, and somebody turns to my buddy Roy and says, "How did your Crokinole tournament go on the weekend?" And I went, "Crokinole tournament?" And Roy Campbell, fantastic Crokinole player. He's placed as high as 3rd in the World Championships. And yeah, he played in tournaments all the time. So, like, to that point, I didn't know competitive Crokinole was a thing.
Sure.
So I started hanging out with him. That's why you should never shoot over the center hole. And going to Crokinole clubs and tournaments, and like I absolutely love playing Crokinole like this, just socially.
Yeah.
But I enjoy even more playing high level competitive Crokinole. Nice shot. Now, when I say there's different levels of trying, at this point I'm in control because I've got a 20. Yes, you've got more on the board than me, but I've got a 20. If this was a competitive match that I really cared about, I would just hit and stick out here
Gotcha.
So to give you no chance at a 20.
Interesting.
But we're playing for fun, and so I'm going to angle in, even though it's bad strategy.
Gotcha. That goes to like the thing I mentioned in the last round of trying to like shoot off the edge, which just feels wrong, but strategically could be right.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are times you absolutely want it. We call it troughing your shot.
Now you mentioned never shoot over the hole, right?
Right. It is possible, but it is likely possible to get hung up.
Oh, so. I know it's possible. I just wanted to lean into it.
Right on.
But yeah. Okay.
Ooh, that's the cardinal sin.
I believe that goes into your... Oh, no. That goes into your own bucket.
Oh, it should... Again, in a competitive situation, you put it in your... But here at my house, in the Tracey house, because I've got 3 boys that play Crokinole quite well, if our house rule is that I have to pull that out and I have to put it in my cup, and I look at it with shame for the rest of the match.
Yeah, I have it on video now, which is helpful. If I'm not going to win, at least we have the shame. How did I do that? How did I land a 20 by mistake? Wow. Okay, well that counts as nothing, by the way, just for the record. If it does not hit anything, it doesn't count. It doesn't go in the shame bucket. At least we have that benefit. But okay, so
I get that question a lot, especially at like PAX with new players, and people will.
How
you did it? That's why. That's impressive.
It's not intended. It's not intended. That's not great. So board control goes to Jeremy so far. Yeah, I think so. I think we can safely say that. Let's try to do the shot I was actually trying to do. That's what I was trying to do, just hopefully with landing it. That's not what I was trying to do. Okay, I'm sure we're doing great here. We're doing great. That's horrible. It's all good. I'm really not the worst at this game.
No.
So that would be 2.
Not.
That would be 2. That's 2 more points, up to 4 by you so far.
So it's
fine.
4-0.
So you started getting into competitive Crokinole there, fine. And then at what point did you move from there into I'm selling Crokinole boards?
There was a gentleman in our town. I live in a very small town. We're surrounded by horse and buggy Mennonites. A man by the name of Willard Martin. Mm-hmm. Super blessed to have met him, and he.
It's my shot, right?
Yes, we take turns starting.
Sure.
He had been building boards for 30 years. That was very close. His dad built boards for 20 years before that.
Yeah.
I think at that point Willard was in his early 70s and he wanted to retire.
Okay.
So he took me in his shop and showed me everything. Introduced me to his suppliers, and then he shut down and we started up. And the rest is history, as they say.
Cool.
It worked out really well. It's funny. Him and his brother used to make the boards, and
that's yours out and mine in.
That's right. I'm in trouble now.
Nice. Finally.
Well done.
Okay.
He'll come down to the shop and he'll walk in, and I mean the Crokinole has really exploded in the last few years, so it's bigger than it ever was for him. And he comes in and he looks around and he goes, "I'm so happy for you guys." He's like, he never wanted it to be that big for him, but he's like, it is so awesome. And for a time, 2 of my sons were in the shop full time with me. One of them has gone on to do something else, but my oldest son Reed is still in the shop full time. So it's kind of a family.
And you have 2 kids?
3.
Nice.
3 boys. Yeah, they're Reed. My oldest is 24. He's basically my shop manager.
I'm beating you by 1 girl.
Okay, yeah. And then our middle son is in university, and Nolan, our youngest, was in the shop. He left because he wanted to go do something different. So he did HVAC for a while, and now he's deciding what to do.
Nice.
But,
and so that shop was called what?
That's just our Tracey board shop.
It was originally called Tracey Boards?
Nope. So I didn't take over Willard's shop. He used to make them. He had a shop in the basement of his house, which is what I did when I started. It was a couple small rooms in my basement, and but it grew so much that obviously we couldn't. It wasn't functional. So now we have a 1,600 square foot shop that we rent.
Nice.
And some days even that feels too small. So
looking to upgrade it all?
Yes, but
links down below to all the board games, to the Crokinole products you can buy. Yeah.
Cool. I mean, we want to keep growing and building, but to get a bigger shop space, it's like,
it's a lot.
It's because the rent overhead is a bit, so it's a business decision. But
yeah, I was just talking to somebody else who makes shampoo and stuff like that, and he's talking about like moving up the next step is like paying $100,000 into a piece of equipment, but it's slightly faster production time. So like the trade-off is, for a long time you're going to lose money on that, but eventually you'll make money on it.
Yep. Yeah. There are options, because there are some things that we store, like our cardboard and our packaging for shipping and whatnot. I could probably get a sea container.
Okay.
A lot cheaper than I can get another 800 square feet of shop space.
Gotcha.
because stuff like that. I can't store my boards outside in a sea container, but I can store my styrofoam.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
I remember this before I got into board game reviewing and content creation. At one point, I ran a board game store, and at one point there was a warehouse decision of do we just like haul up a giant truck to the port to one of the empty docks and just use that for storage. It was an interesting conversation.
Yeah. Cool. But can I discuss strategy for a second here?
Absolutely.
So this is where I see, like I played in a tournament yesterday in Brunswick.
Nice.
And a lot of newer players. And this is the mistake that newer players make. Right now, you've got a 20.
Yes.
You've got one sitting out in the 5. A lot of players would just knock yours off and leave their button on.
Yeah.
Which then if you do
at
the
that
same,
point, based on what you said 2 minutes ago, I'm just going to keep playing and keep away.
If you keep the play on the outside. So at this point, you're in control.
Yeah.
I have to get play back to the middle.
Yes.
If I don't, I'm going to lose this round.
Cool.
So
you keep in mind, one essential mistake you're forgetting is that's all true when you're playing against a competent Crokinole player. At some point, I'll screw up and give you back the opportunity. You have to remember that.
Yes. So, I mean, if I hit and stick there, because if you didn't know strategy, you might try to roll in for another 20 and go, I'm going to go up 2 20s on this guy. Yeah. That would be a mistake on your part because you're bringing play back into the middle.
It's good to know.
But
I'm going to play Jesse after this game.
All right. What I'm going to do, peel everything off. Now, with the valid shot rule, meaning you have to come back to the middle, you might sink another 20, but you might also set me up.
Wow. This game is actually pretty interesting. I usually just try to sink things in the middle, not realizing it's a horrible mistake to do so. Yeah, unfortunately, I've now set him up for a shot. So that was a big mistake. Good to know. Good strategy lesson. Oh, dear Lord, it's painful. Okay. I'm really unbelievable. So
there's so many levels to this game. Like, one of the favorite things I've heard said about the game, and I say it, dead simple to learn.
Yes.
If you've never played before, we can sit down inside of 2, maybe 3 minutes. You're going to know the gist of the rules, and we can absolutely get started and have some fun. But you're going to be a long time.
Yeah.
It's developing the skill as well as the strategy.
It's the sentence that I hate the most in board games. It's like, literally, I hate it the most because every game says it. It's a minute to learn, a lifetime to master.
Oh, okay. I should stop saying that then.
Oh, no, you can say it. It's true here. It is true.
Okay.
But a lot of games love to like pitch that. A minute to learn, a lifetime to master. And I'm like, dear Lord, can we come up with another way of selling a game?
Cool. Yeah. That's good
Miniatures.
to know.
Let's use miniatures.
Huh.
Anyways, to you, sir. Ooh.
That was a mistake.
Ooh. That was, I don't know if that was necessarily, it set me up for a nice shot. Whether or not I can make it is a different story. I cannot make it. Unbelievable.
Right there, what you're looking at, that's what I would call a heavy hanger. Like, if it's just barely over, it's a backboard. It's almost a gimme. But what you were looking at there, it was a very tough shot. Yeah.
I mean, tough would be a good excuse, except I didn't even tap it. Okay, let's see how we do. That is... So, the game control was looking great for a bit. Less so now. Okay, I can work with that, but I don't think actually I could, because I think I've just knocked it out to the outer edge, which makes me have a target to hit, and you don't have to worry about that. Mm-hmm. That's a shame.
Now, again, when I say there's levels of trying, I wouldn't do this in a competitive match, but I'm going to do it here, and it may or may not work out. I'm going to try to hit that peg and bounce back for a 20.
Let's see. Okay.
Did not. It was fun to try, though.
Yep. So I need to try to hit this off. There. Okay.
Now, the great thing is, now I'm really getting risky, because if I don't get this, then you're set up for a 20.
Potentially. But don't worry, we got time. I'm not getting those... So I still think the math favors you here.
Yes. So I do quick math. All I have to do is hit and stick in here.
And that's the game.
Those two cancel and then I'm up by 10.
Cool. So that's up to 6 points. Still not your game. There's still a chance. I bet everyone's rooting for me at this point. Put your odds down as far as how things are going to go there.
Do you bet at all?
I mean, I don't... I rarely try to... I try not to bet in general. Most of the time and the reason for this is because I have a very addictive personality in all senses.
Yeah.
I got into Magic the Gathering once upon a time, and I got heavily into Magic the Gathering. I got into Warhammer once upon a time. I got heavily into Warhammer. In the case of Magic the Gathering, I even opened up a store at one point selling stuff like that just for the sake of getting more Magic the Gathering. I got into board games. I got heavily into board games. I got into Magic, like Magic Tricks. I got heavily. Whenever I get into a hobby, I heavily get into that hobby.
Yeah.
I got into Guild Wars, like a video game. Played that for like 4 years straight. I get into things.
Yeah.
The problem is that addictive personality is great until you're sitting there with a pile of money on the table and you just want to keep going.
Yep.
So like I've been in a casino a few times in my life. I only allowed myself to bet once with like a $20 hard limit.
Yep.
And even then I felt uncomfortable because I wanted to keep going.
Okay.
So I have gambled in closer friendly settings.
Right.
And I'm not averse to that, but it has to like be very situational as far as what I'm willing to do, basically.
Yeah.
I have to make sure I'm not like getting rid of my house and my games and my...
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't bet for a similar reason. One, because I like my money, and two, because of the addictive thing. But yeah, I was just wondering what the live betting odds were going across the bottom of the screen.
Oh, they're very heavily in your favor at the moment. I think the current question is not whether they're in your favor. The current question is, do I get any game? That's the current question.
Is it though? I'm sorry, that was rude.
That was not rude. That was great. That was great. So you're friends with Devin, which means you already know Devin's amazing. Devin and I love to dish it out. And to the point that there's another person, Travis, who you don't know, who, when we were at PAX, which we were just at, Travis managed to get a solid... What was the thing? What was the line? I think we were playing a game, and then we got to the end game, and I had won the game, and I was like pointing out, and like they're like, "Oh my gosh, you got that much?" And I was like, "Yeah, I got like 154 points from this track alone." And Travis was like, "That's funny, because alone is the word I think of when I think of you." And I was like, "Oh!" We all like laughed. We had it was a great line. It was all perfect mood. And then Travis's girlfriend, I think girlfriend, was like apparently gave him a hard time about it later because she thought it was mean.
Okay.
And we're like, no, burn away. Like you gotta lean into it.
Yep.
There's a particular person in my game group who doesn't do as well with ribbing, and he's a great guy. I like him. Game night is less fun when he's there because the rest of us all rib each other to death, and we have to be mindful of tuning it back a bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. No, I know Devin likes it, and I love ripping on Devin. It's one of my...
Devin is a delight of a human being who is very fun to rip on.
Wow. Let's stop saying nice things about him in case he watches this, right?
No, he won't watch this. He doesn't watch any of the content. It's all good. He actually, I think he does decently. Oh, okay. So that's there.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
If you come... What's your goal?
My goal is to try to knock it out, and I'm trying to figure out which angle. I think this angle is probably better because of there, but it's still across the opening a little more. But let's go for it. Okay.
If you looked at that and your goal, like there are times you look at it and it's posted,
sure,
and you look at it and go, okay, I'm not going to get that out. Yeah. And you're better off to accept that. I think one of the videos on my channel, the skills video, is like know your limit and play within it. It is like understand it, like not trying to make a shot that you're not capable of. If it's too close to that pin, just accept that you're not going to get it off. And instead, just make a valid shot so at least you keep yours on. Sometimes the objective, if it's set up right, you can try to bounce off your opponent and have it kiss yours back into the 20 hole. But otherwise, the goal can be just to move, like you want to make a valid shot, but you just want to move your opponent away from that post so that on your next shot, you can get rid of it.
Cool. Has Devin ever played you 2 versus 2, 1 versus 1?
Yes.
Has he won?
No.
No.
He might have won points. Yeah.
Because Devin, I know I'm closer to in skill. He's still better than me, but I'm closer to.
Yeah.
But that doesn't give me that much hope.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think we did a race to 7, and I don't know if he got 1 round off me. But yeah, then I went home and cried because I don't like losing to Devin.
So one of the things, ooh, I don't love that. That's a little bit obnoxious as far as the across the hole over there. This would be ideally the way to do it, but it's not where I'm loving it. I think I'm just going to go for it directly.
Yeah. If you do need to go over the center hole, the goal would be to go half hole. So you only want your disc to go over half of that center hole so that it doesn't have the chance to wobble in.
That's a degree of precision that I don't think I'm capable of. But I did manage to get that, which is sheer luck, let's be honest. Anyways, now you have a thing on your site, which I played, I believe I want to say 1 time, which is 5-hole Crokinole.
Yes.
Is that your idea?
No.
Where'd that come from?
I don't know where it originally came from, but I know the first I knew of it, my friend Nick Osmore in New Hampshire, he sent it to me, and I'll be brutally honest, he sent it to me, he said, can you make a 5-hole Crokinole board? And I looked at it and said, that's
abomination.
Dumb. Yeah, that's dumb. Then I made one and sat down and played it. It is so much fun. I mean, you talk about trash talking. You get 4 buddies around the table that are all good about ribbing, like the trash talking and the innuendos and the comments that come out around that 5-hole Crokinole board are hilarious.
Now, for those of you who don't know, the 5-hole Crokinole is going to add holes around the corner, and it's going to be negative 10 holes. If you get your piece in there, that's negative 10, I want to say?
Yes.
Negative 10, yeah. And so it just changes the way you play the game a little bit more confrontational, even when it doesn't necessarily need to be. We talked a lot about suboptimal play here. 5-hole Crokinole leads to a lot of suboptimal but very fun plays. You try to vengefully hit that 20.
Yeah.
Hit that 10, the negative 10. We're going to try this again. That's 2 so far across the center. At this point, I should consider other angles.
Now here, I'm going to be nice.
Oh, you are such a prince. But...
Oh, I'm not being that nice. I'm being a little bit nice and moving the one that you were...
Okay. I'm going to try to tap that a bit. Okay. I'll take it. See, anything which I hit your piece is a win for me.
Oh.
Oh. So that was you being nice.
No, that was unintentional.
Oh. Close, but not quite enough. That's an easy to knock it out. Shot. But you still have the 20 over there, which is definitely a safe haven, so to speak.
I do.
I don't think the odds are in my favor, but at this point, the chance is at least possible. I don't love that. I don't love that one bit. But if I can knock you out and land the 20, let's do some math. If I can knock you out and land the 20, that gives me... Actually, it doesn't even give me control necessarily, because this is... That's on the line.
So...
Yes.
You have last shot.
Yes. I believe... You go ahead.
Yeah. If you hit and stick and take that one out, we will tie, because you'll have 2 in the 15 to my 20, 30.
But if I can land the 20...
Yes.
Yes. Then what happens in a tie? It's 1 point each.
1 point each.
Which means the next game you get 2 points, you still win.
Yes.
Yes, because you're currently at 6, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, let's do the best we can over here. Let's see if we can potentially hit that. Watch me hit my own piece out. But... that little ticker down there was, all of you suck, okay? You had no confidence. No confidence in me. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm just going to title this video, Jump to, like, 18-4, like, wherever the timestamp is. Just jump straight to there. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So it is now 6-2.
Wow. Wow, I did not expect that to be very, very clear. That is... I was optimistic I could maybe tie it.
That, there are a couple of mistakes that I see people make when they play competitive Crokinole. One, they suck at math. That was a little blunt. But sometimes I see people, and you see it more in doubles, because partners, there's no coaching in Crokinole, but partners are allowed to coach each other. So someone watching can't come along and go, oh, no, don't do that. That's not fair. But partners will talk through it. And there's times playing doubles, I will hear my opponents talk to each other, and they think they have to do way more with their shot than they actually do. So they go for a big shot, they miss it up. And when all they had to do was hit and stick in the 15. That's part of the skill of the game. The other mistake people make is they lose track of who has hammer.
Hammer's last shot?
Hammer's last shot. So you just had last shot, but there's some players that will go, they would think, I still had a shot left, because they just lost track of it. And again, they try to do more with their shot than they need to. So, yeah. Situational awareness.
The next time you're in school and they say, why do you have to learn the math? It's for Crokinole.
Yep, absolutely. And it's pretty simple math. It goes by 5s.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's...
So I should warn you that after I lose a round, it makes me mad.
Of course, that's reasonable.
And,
That's reasonable. Okay, cool. I can work with people being mad. I work with Devin all the time. Okay. Ooh, that's not good. I left it in. That's not good. Okay, now the good news is I do... Ooh, you left it in too.
Did so.
Okay, there's still a chance for me. Take a chance on me if you need me. Oh, so yours is out, mine is in. I'm okay with this.
So that's there's a spinning disc rule that if that had crossed the line, and mine, if it had crossed the line and it came back in on its own without touching and coming back, but wherever it ends up, that is how you determine whether it's in or not.
Now that's not true if it bounces off the edge entirely, right?
That's right.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
And I believe the reason is because you and I could argue about whether it crossed the line or not, but we can't really argue about where it ended up.
That makes sense.
Same thing with what we call the
also, it's cool as all hell.
Yes.
Yes.
The other thing that's really cool, depending on which side of it you're on, is the damage rule. So if something leaves, a button leaves, hits the rail, comes back in, it is dead. So it doesn't matter where it ends up, it goes in the gutter.
What happens if it touches stuff?
Whatever damage it causes stays. So if it knocks your button from here into the middle, that 20 would count.
Wow.
Again,
cool as all hell.
We could argue about where it was sitting. We can't argue about where it is sitting.
Yeah.
So
very cool.
All right, now I said you may be mad, but you didn't really. Again, this is bad strategy on my part. I have control right now because I have hammer. Even though you've got 2-1 to my 1, like like you think about it, if the round just continued the way it was, I'm going to win in the end. So basically, at this point, if I was playing with good strategy, I want to keep it outside. You want to get it back inside, but I just want to have some fun, so I am going to bring it back in.
Okay.
Sort of ish.
So this is where I'm going to try to knock that off a bit. I'm a little hesitant on that shot, honestly. I might try to... No, I think I have to do it this way.
Yep.
Okay. No, nope, that's
Try that again. You get a moment.
No.
No?
Definitely not.
Okay. Well, you're going to get to try it again because it's still sitting there.
Yeah.
You 100% want to go over here. You have to get back in the middle.
Okay.
Now, again, normally what I would try to do is hit there, hit this peg, and bring my button back. Or just lose everything.
Yeah.
But...
Now this time I'm trying to get mine to drop into the middle. Beautiful, okay, although you're still on the board, which I don't love. So I got the middle area, but not on the board.
Oh!
Okay. This should be an easy shot in theory, but easy shots for me are not the same as easy shots, although I did get it.
That was a great shot.
Okay.
And it's a great shot because of what you left me with.
Okay, let's try to get a little bit of... This is my last shot, which means I really think it's your round, but let's try to... Nope, that was not good enough.
So you've got 20.
I believe your correct shot is off the board.
Those... Nope, I don't
not?
think so. Those two would cancel.
Yep.
Those two would cancel.
You're at 25.
I have 20. This is touching the 10.
Oh, that's touching the 10? Oh, I missed that. Gotcha.
So at this point, all I have to do is make a valid shot.
Yep. That seems like it's your game there.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So that's 8-2.
8-2. Still got time. Still got time. The little betting crowd down below is still wondering whether I'm going to get at least one more. So we do have time to see this. And this is your shot first. So yes. I do have hammer, which is nice, but you have a 20, which is not nice.
Oh. That is terrible. I am folding under the pressure of the bright lights.
Stop and stare. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, and I have hammer here, which means currently... Oh, beautiful.
This is getting ugly.
Oh!
Uglier.
Okay. That's off, which means... Oh, I just went too fast there. I was too fast. I was too excited. I was like, I have to get this going while I have the momentum. Oh, I don't love that one bit. I can't hit it from there. I could hit it directly across the center, but I could also knock my own piece, which is not the way I want to do it.
That was close.
That was entirely too close. All right. How do you resolve people who debate whether a piece was touched?
You know what? It's really not that. Even at the highest level. If you go on my channel, I did a video called The Hutch Daddy Principle. Good friend of mine, Andrew Hutchinson. I think it was my son Reed. I think it was him that started calling him Hutch Daddy. Okay. Super guy. Super nice guy. And I tell the story that we were playing in the Ontario Doubles Championship. Pretty pivotal match. Roy Campbell and I are playing against him, and I think it was Connor Ryman. And Andrew bumped the table, which made one of our buttons fall in the middle. It was sitting right by the center hole, and when he moved, he bumped and it fell. There is a rule you're not allowed to bump the table. Yeah. There's not a rule that says what happens when the table is bumped. So we're in a timed match. We don't really have a lot of time to debate. But the four players, as soon as it happened, Andrew went, that was my fault. That 20 counts. And we're like, are you sure? And he was like, yep, I shouldn't have bumped the table. And that was the decision that we made and just got back to playing. So I call it the Hutch Daddy principle. When something happens, you just make the best decision you can and get back to having fun. I am sure there's people on a Friday night drinking beer that get in yelling matches with their buddies debating whether something touched or not.
Yeah.
And
so this is the Hutch Daddy principle works well when you're playing with reasonable people, basically.
Yes.
Cool.
And my experience is that 99.9% of the people I play Crokinole with are pretty reasonable.
That makes sense. What happens when you're playing with Devin?
I usually beat him bad enough that it doesn't matter.
Gotcha. That's fair. That's fair. I hear that.
I'm talking a little bit of trash right now, considering I'm on the wrong side of this round.
We're talking trash against Devin.
That's true.
I'm not good at those pieces against that line. Although,
wow,
you're helping me out here by being equally not good.
Can you edit this out? Like, do you have that?
It's embarrassing for both of us. I'm okay with the agreement. No. So I am up, and I have the last shot right now.
Yep.
It's my game.
Yep. So
I'm just going to go ahead and... Yeah, my game. We're going to do that. We're not taking any chances here. Yeah.
There's another timestamp going on the bottom. Now I actually am mad.
Oh. I'm okay with this. It's the talking thing. It's the whole, I'm putting you in an environment that's not the way, you see, here's the thing that's the thing people don't realize. When you're actually good at something, being in a different situation is harder. When I was first started on YouTube, I would film anywhere on a camera, not worry about the audio, the this or that, anything else. But now, if I go to a convention, the idea of filming not in my setup, even this video right now, where the cameras are different, it throws me off my game to a degree because the thing I've gotten good at is gone. I'm not good at Crokinole. So you throw me in a situation like this where I'm kind of on the edges. Again, I'm not bad. I'm just not great. It's like, okay, great. So I'm just being thrown into a different situation. In your end, it's like, all the things I've learned to be good at are shifting. It's like when I first learned how to play pool, the first time I started playing pool, I was beating my friends who were good at pool. As I got better, I started losing.
Interesting.
Because I was just, I had more control of my shots, but that meant more, like when I first started, I would slam the shots and almost get lucky sometimes, or just really not be worried. But as I got better, I found that they were actually also, they're good against playing against good players. They weren't good against playing somebody who's going to do something completely different. And so as I fell into the realm of normalcy, it was like, and I found this happens with board games too sometimes. Playing a area control game against someone who you can accurately predict how they'll act. That's like, we're both doing a fine job. Playing an area control game against somebody who's going to go crazy, you can't optimize around that.
Years ago, I trained in kickboxing for quite a while, and I remember people saying that training against, sparring against someone who was untrained was actually more dangerous because like you just didn't know what was going to happen.
That makes sense.
And but I also don't believe in making excuses, so
And you're fine with that there. That makes sense.
Ooh, nice shot.
Perfect. But you still have the hammer, which is what I have to worry about. Oh!
Touch daddy principle.
That's not touching.
I believe you.
Yep. The good part is that was on overhead shots, so we have visual evidence. Ooh, that's not good. That was my opportunity there. That was my opportunity. Okay. Ooh. Oh, nice. Okay, I almost knocked that off for some reason. I almost like grabbed it as if it was out of play.
Nice.
Beautiful. Okay, I'm doing decent, but you're still doing fine too, which has me a little concerned.
Oh, yikes!
Oh, I was trying to bring play back to the middle and knock it out. That's the game right there. That's the game.
Well, don't go counting yourself out just yet.
Oh, that was not good.
I feel like that's one of my other strengths in a competitive match is that until it is mathematically impossible, I'm still trying.
I remember this at PAX where I kept on being very defeatist, and you were like, "Your buddy is a Debbie Downer." Okay.
That sounds like something I'd say.
Well,
that was unorthodox,
but that was not. Still trying to get in the middle. Those angled shots are not my strength.
Now here's a situation I look at. I probably can't get your button off. And if I try, the harder I try to get that off, the more disastrous it's going to be. So
a light tap is the way to go.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, a light tap gives me the opportunity to try to knock yours out and mine, and although I don't think that's going to be an easy shot by a long shot. But at least I got that off.
Yep.
Although I think the math right about now, it makes it very easy for you to win with a decent shot.
Yep. I just have to hit and stick in the 15. But instead, I was ran the 20. Yeah. So, if you want, and we can do it a shorter way if you want. One way that I like to balance the playing field is I play 7 buttons to my opponent's 8.
Okay.
Which means that you get first and last shot every round. If you'd like to try a round or two like that, or I don't know how you're.
Whatever, you just won, right?
I think so.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think the math works out. 7 to opponent's 8.
So I put one. So you would have first and last shot every round.
Gotcha. Wait, first and last? I'm missing something. How do I get first and last shot every round?
Because I'm going to take one of my buttons and put it over here.
Oh. I thought we were talking about score 7 and 8.
Nope.
You're talking about buttons.
Yeah, because I think I just won that game.
I think you did.
So
I'll try that.
Yeah.
I'll try that. Let's do one more of these. Not the way to start, but it's okay. Okay, and let's go ahead and knock that off from the edge over here. Light tap. That should have been a harder tap. I just set myself up with a target that I have to hit the entire time. That's more dangerous than you think. Although you give me a different target to hit. Although this one I want to kind of hit from this angle. Halfway across the middle is the target.
Hey, nice shot.
Okay.
Alright.
Ooh. This one, I kind of want to do the same thing, but I'm a little worried about getting that middle hung up, but I'm going to try it. Nope, that was straight down the middle, managed to miss both your buttons. That's impressive in its own right, honestly. Okay. Do that same shot again. Nope, not what I wanted. But it does set me up with 2 hard to go pieces, but the upside of that is not as good as you might think, given the fact that I actually need to win. Okay, that's okay, but not good. Okay is fine when you're winning. It's not great when you're losing. Okay, and this is where the math's just not great over here. That was really not the way to go. I think right about now, I think hope is gone.
If you, now again, I never give up. If you were to come straight across there and blister that one, if you could take out this and these two, leave your shooter in there, we would be tied.
I agree with the possible hypothetical of it, and we'll give you that instead.
Yep. I call that a Hail Mary shot, like you're
Oh, no, I was still going to try in that case. There are times where I give up, but it's also, I tend to be very realist, which is not the best thing in life in general with people who are optimists.
Yeah.
Because to me, here's the thing about realism is interesting. When you're a realist, and you say something realistic, some people take that as pessimism, and they get more down because you said something that to you is realistic. If I sit there and say, oh, I have no chance of winning, I don't mean I'm not trying. I just mean I have no chance of winning, but like, of course I'm going to try as long as math is possible. Somebody else hears that and be like, oh, wow, you're being defeatist. I'm like, no, of course I'm going to try. I'm just acknowledging the reality of the situation. You know, if you're about to die, you still try to not die, but just acknowledge the reality.
Do you know that they say that optimists are just as judgmental as pessimists? They're just happy about it.
Ooh, it's funny. I like that.
Right?
I like that.
Yeah. That was ugly.
I've not been doing well with those shots across the middle, and I'm worried I'm going to hit my own piece, but we're going to try it with a little bit of strength. Definitely at the strength. Definitely at the strength. The rest of it, not so much. I feel like if I actually sit down and play Crokinole with you, I might actually get marginally better.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Let's try to hit that one. That was not good. A little bit of force is necessary. Ooh. Let's try to blister that across the middle. Perfect. Okay. Oh, that was ugly. I mean, not for you. For you, it's great. I'm going to try to go across that edge there. Again. Oh my gosh.
Oh, here you go.
Yeah, that should. Nope. Hit it at least.
Again, that was a heavy hanger. It was going to take a fairly hard hit to. Oh.
Try to knock that out, which I did kind of do in a manner of speaking. I'm gonna try to go.
Hey!
That was a good shot.
Yes,
not
it was.
quite enough to
Not quite
do what you
enough,
needed. Okay, you have the 20 on the side.
Yep.
That caps you out there, which means we're on to round 3. 4 points up so far. Doing just fine with your handicap.
One of the reasons that I like what we call the NCA scoring or the tournament scoring is because you get to your last shot. If you were playing what we call the traditional scoring where you're doing a race to 100, if you're looking at your last shot, you're going, okay, what's the safe shot for me to minimize the damage?
Yeah.
Whereas with tournament scoring, you look at the board and go, it doesn't matter if I lose by 100 or lose by 5. It doesn't matter. I may as well go for this absolutely wickedly optimistic shot.
And you're saying you prefer that?
I do prefer that because we get to see a lot crazier shots.
So the reason I like the alternate scoring, my preference is that way, is because I like the idea that you could be up by, who knows how many points.
Right.
And a solid round. Because we've had this happen. We've had games where, someone's up by, 60 points to, your 15, you have a round, and suddenly, boom. It feels like you're always in it. Going back to that realistic.
Yeah.
It feels like you're always there.
Yeah.
But the flip side is it could feel unfair, too, and it takes away, I hear what you're saying on that last shot aspect.
There are pros and cons to both. As far as, we call it tournament scoring because traditional scoring in a tournament setting just wouldn't work.
Okay, why not?
Because you and I could sit here and have a really even match. So you get 5 points, then I get 5 points. It could take us 20 rounds to get to 100. It's unlikely, but it could happen. The game beside us could be done in 1 round.
Gotcha.
So the guys are sitting here.
It's a practical thing.
Yeah. So in tournaments, we have 8 minutes to play 4 rounds.
Gotcha.
Which some people think that's harsh. It's very doable.
Yeah. 8 minutes. Oh wow, it's not bad.
I sit down with one of my sons and we can play a 4-round game in like 5 or 6 minutes, because once you get used to playing, you're no longer having to think that much about your shots. You just know, okay, this situation, this is what I'm going to do.
What happens if time runs out? Who's that favor or not favor?
So if you're in a tournament and time runs out, you even the shots.
Okay.
So yeah, if you had taken one more shot than me when the buzzer went, then I would get to take one more shot. Nice.
I'm not going to pretend that was planned. And the nice part is it gives you a off the edge shot, which you probably going to try to clear, given that.
So that.
Oh, that's off the edge.
That's off.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Okay.
I needed a 20 there.
Oh. I gave you the opportunity. Don't worry. You can rely on me. I'm here to help you. You see,
you
thought this was singles. This is teams. It's you and me versus me. That's. Yep. Just. Hey, progress. Okay.
Oh, that was great angle. Just a little too much heat on that.
Okay, and that's your round. 6
Yep.
points up. We still got time for me to pretend. Again, the counter's running along, the ticker's running along the bottom. The question isn't the how and the when, the question is how much. Yeah, so one thing is I recently went to WSBG, the World Series of Board Gaming, and it did lead to this idea that there's many aspects of gaming. The same way you mentioned like the timer thing and how I'm just like, oh, what's the difference? And you're like, well, one could run forever and one could be over in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
There's all these aspects of gaming that are different in a competitive setting. Nope, that was bad. Different competitive setting that you have to reevaluate the way it plays. Like, so one thing I didn't even think about is how. I didn't even think about how like they have to take into account the cheatability of different games.
Right.
When they're talking about a competitive setting, which is something I just didn't really think of. But, and then like the time of games, how long a game takes versus another one. All these things are different factors that, in tournament settings, you have to. Think
that
about.
was close. Alright. Decide which fun shot I want to do here.
Both mine lined up nicely. Whoa. Okay. Okay. So it's that kind of game. I gotcha.
There was no false advertising.
No. This is listen. This is what I expected. Too much strength, not enough. Jeez. I'm just like at this point I'm getting into like the desperation mode of just trying to like do whatever I can to. Unbelievable. That would be.
Those pegs are
no, it's okay.
relentless.
You got time. Ticker's still running. Whoops.
8.
Okay. I think the talking thing is.
Ooh. I thought the talking was to your advantage.
No, it's supposed to be. I think the problem is you're a better Crokinole player than I'm a talker. Okay. See, this is where. No, let's go ahead. Nope. I think I'm not going to try to get it out. I'm just going to try to hit it. Nope, did not do that either.
That's a tough lie. Ooh.
Okay, I can work with that until you knock it out. Okay. Let's see how this goes.
Mine was supposed to go in the middle.
I realize that. See, the only thing going in my favor now is that I have the hammer, but I don't think it's going to be enough, especially with you hitting that last shot.
Ooh.
No. Yeah, see, I think the right angle is this to this, but I just can't hit it.
Yeah,
Which, there we go. Oh, I still have one more shot. I should be able to do this.
Yeah, get them all off and. Ooh.
There we go. That would be faster.
That would
did better the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the way the buttons
Very cool.
tumbled. But yeah.
So past that, what else do? You do Crokinole. Anything else? I'm saying, like, what do you do? So you have the Crokinole, you have the 5-hole board. Anything else interesting?
Oh, within our business,
Yeah.
we've been adding new products. These have been around forever, the 20 holders.
Yeah.
again, like when we sell a board, we always include everything that a person needs to play. They get the board, they get 2 colors of buttons, they get wax, the rule book, a button baggie, all that. That's all you need. We've added more accessories. These have been around for a long time. If you don't have these, then 20s just get set aside in a designated area. I like these because they're nice, they fit really well on the rail. It's also just a glance.
It's a visual indicator, yeah.
It's just a glance. Oh, he's got 3, I've got 2. I better pull my socks up here. So there's things like that. These button trays, again, it was another idea somebody brought to me, and I went, really? I've been playing Crokinole my whole life.
Now you have an 8. Do you for teams? Do you just use an 8 that you don't fill completely, or do you sell 6s?
Yeah. So we don't sell 6s. We only sell 8s. There are people that like to play singles with 12 buttons each.
Okay.
I find, and that's the way I played when I was a kid, because that was the way I was introduced.
I think that's the way I originally played.
Yeah. Once I switched to 8 buttons, I very much prefer it. It just makes the rounds snappier.
And is that tournament play?
Yes, that is tournament. So basically everything we do within Tracey boards is to tournament standard. We are the official board builders for the World Crokinole Championships.
Really?
Yeah.
Very cool.
So we inherited that from Willard because he was the official, so now we are.
Is there money in that? Not in selling the boards. Is there money for winning those things?
It is the highest payout tournament that I know of. Competitive singles in fingers, because there's fingers and cues at the Worlds. Competitive singles, it's $1,000 cash.
Okay.
To the winner.
Nice.
So I mean, it's not. Yeah.
It's playing for fun with a little bit of extra perk on the side.
Yeah. Now there are other tournaments. The U.S. Open that happens in Voorheesville, New York. I think it was $400 to the winners, but that's doubles.
Okay.
So, but I mean, it's a nice payout. A typical NCAA tournament we go to, the winner's getting $100. I think.
It's more about the sport. It's not about the payouts.
I don't. I mean, the Worlds. It's on my goal sheet to win the World Championships. But I don't. I'll take the money. I'll spend the money, but that's not why.
It's not why you want it.
Yeah, I want to say that I'm a World Crokinole champion, and it'll come. It's it's not easy, man. There's so many levels. Like at the top level, if you miss, you lose.
Have you ever played a perfect back-to-back 20s?
It doesn't happen as often as you'd think.
I have no idea how often it happens.
Yeah. I can only remember a couple of times in competitive play that both players shot a perfect round.
Interesting.
It was funny. Justin Slater, who I think has won the World Championships in singles 7 times.
Okay.
It was, for the longest time, whenever I played him in a tournament, I would have one round against him that I got 7 20s and he got 8.
That's gotta be a little disappointing.
It's inspiring.
One of my favorite moments in Crokinole is when you're playing 4-player Crokinole and you're just going round and round hitting 20s.
Yep.
Like I think I've gotten the most I've ever seen. I think is one. I want to say like 7 or 8, where you have like people like I'm on my second round, we're doing it. Everyone's like, and it gets to the point where you're rooting for the other team.
Yep.
Which is
absolutely
amazing. Like I love that collaborative nature of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
The one of the things that I love that I mentioned the U.S. Open in Voorheesville, that is Jason Malloy runs that club. It's called the Extra Plank Crokinole Club. So as you can imagine, they enjoy a bevy or two. But he has done a better job of building club and community than anybody I've ever seen. It's just amazing. One of the things they do at their club nights and then we do at their tournaments is they have jackpots. They're optional to buy into. It's like $1 or $2 that you throw in there. But one of the jackpots is that it goes, I think they call it around the moon. So it goes around twice with everybody at the table sinking 20s. If that happens, whichever table that happens at first, they split that jackpot. So it's just so then you're really rooting because I mean it's only a few bucks.
Yeah, but it's the fun. It's just that aspect. I mean, there's a reason Crokinole is. I have to remember where I placed it this year. I just finished doing my top 100 games of all time, and I'm pretty sure Crokinole's in my top 20. I want to say some of my top 20. You're like not number one, not number one. How dare? What am I doing here? It's the wrong place. Look around the basement. Look around the games I have. It might be my top 10. I'm not sure. Also, part of me wants to keep the mystery alive because I don't know if this video goes up before that video.
Okay.
So I need to be mindful of that too.
Yep.
So it's somewhere in the top 20. I'm only to say that. I don't remember for sure what's in the top 10. I have a feeling I know it is, but it's up there. And it's part of it goes back to the thing we said, a minute to learn, a lifetime to master. It's so easy to pull out. It's so easy to play. Playing it at 4 is my go-to for sure. 2, I enjoy it, but 4 is just such a fun experience as you work with your teammate, as you go back and forth. It also has that nice aspect of you can balance out different skill levels very nicely.
Absolutely.
Because as soon as if you have 2 people, one of the downsides of Crokinole to me is that a 2-player game, someone who's drastically better, make no mistake, I had fun playing this totally 100%. And I also got to learn a lot of things, which was helpful as well. But when you're playing against someone who's better than you, it's a little less, balanced.
Right.
a 4-player game. We've done this ourselves.
Yes.
We've done that aspect of pairing up, the best and the worst, and then the two medium.
Who did you put me with?
Hi, West. How you doing there?
That was my little jab at West.
Although to be fair to West, you did win. You did win.
Yeah.
Got some tough moments there. I definitely helped West balance out some of the moments with an occasional misplaced shot that Devin.
Yeah.
Devin still loves me. It's okay.
I think that was the most offensive thing you've ever said to me was when you lumped Devin and I together skill-wise.
No, I don't think you're the same skill at all. I think my question is how. Again, you have to remember my other question. My other question is: has Devin ever scored a round against you?
Yeah.
That's not a question you ask when I think they're the same skill level.
Yeah.
I am very aware that you're significantly better than Devin, but I also know Devin's better than me. Like Devin to me is someone who I don't even know when he got into Crokinole. I think I was playing Crokinole like 8 years earlier than he was, but I never got into it the same way he did.
Right.
He had found it. He reached out to you, I believe.
Yep.
He started playing it, and he got heavily into it.
Yeah.
Whereas I always played casually, and Devin's here like, nope, I'm going to learn the shots. I'm going to watch the I don't even know if he watched the video at all. I have no clue. But he picked up very quickly how to play well.
Yeah.
But yeah. Very cool.
That's one of the things I love. Like I was at the tournament yesterday, and there were people there who have Tracey boards, and that's great.
Yeah.
But people there who are fans of my YouTube channel because I have a lot of teaching skills, teaching strategy, and one of the guys actually beat me in a 4-round game yesterday.
Nice.
And I think he's been playing a year or two. Not making excuses. He played great. I made a couple of mistakes and he capitalized on them.
Yeah.
That's what great players do.
Yeah.
And I think he beat me 5-3. But he had made the comment and I love that people are watching our videos to learn those slight edge principles that are going to make them better and stronger. Because
even just today, there's a lot of interesting things that again, you mentioned earlier, Crokinole's about a lot about math. Like there's a lot of just, hey, this is what you have to do, this is what you don't have to do.
Yeah.
And combine that with things like who has control, who has the hammer, who has there's some interesting tactical play that is. Well, I'm definitely going to be using it against Devin and Jesse, I can tell you that.
Yep.
With you, I'm just here to have a fun game because I don't expect to win. With them, I want to make them feel bad about themselves as human beings.
Right.
Yeah.
As you should.
Exactly. And West, too. Too.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. But, it's actually Devin's fault that I'm sitting here because it was, of your group, he was the first one. He reached out to me before, that was a couple years ago. He was writing for Game Tyrant, I want to say.
Yes.
And that was how him and I connected, and then it just went from there. But,
I like Devin. All insults aside, he is one of my favorite people on planet Earth.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, he's a lot of fun to hang out with, but... yeah, and it was awesome to be here.
Excellent.
I'm grateful for the time.
Thanks for coming by. This is very helpful, very cool, very fun, and also I love my board, for the record. I think, by the way, this is actually, I got this board recently enough that I think this is my first actual full game that's not just a few shots back and forth.
Okay, well, I feel honored.
2 losses to the person who made the board. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it. In any case, thanks so much for popping by. I appreciate it. I'll have a link down below to their stuff. This is not a review of Crokinole. You can watch, you know how I feel about Crokinole if you've watched my stuff. I've talked about it extensively. It'll be in my top 20 games of all time. I really enjoy the hobby. I think that one of the things I've said this with Devin on a video once, is I love Crokinole, and I do recommend, to the point that I recommend getting in on this, even if your first entry point is a $100 board somewhere. You'll have fun, you'll enjoy it. The one downside I've said about Crokinole is that as soon as you play on a nicer board, your $100 board, which was fine and was amazing, will feel worse. So if you're willing to jump in and just whole hog, or if you're able to play this somewhere else, I do recommend going for the best of the best off the bat. Again, I had a $250 board that I thought was excellent, and this board made me feel like I want this board.
Yeah.
And so there is that downside. If you have the affordability, you have the interest, you've played the game, you know you like it, I highly recommend a Tracey board. It's the best board I've played on. If you don't have that affordability offhand, which I completely respect, try to play it somewhere else, or even a $100 board. Again, you will enjoy your $100 board just fine until you upgrade. But yeah.
If I can jump in with a quick plug, if you go to our website, and at the very bottom, there's something called the Crokinole Connections map. Everyone on there, we also have a map that shows every town we've shipped a board to, but we don't have people's information on there. Sure. That's not cool. But the Crokinole Connections map is all people who have submitted and say, please list my information because I want to connect with other Crokinole players. So if you're like, hey, I want to try this game, but I don't want to spend that much, look on the Crokinole Connections map. There might be a game store or a club or even just a person who loves Crokinole who has themselves listed on there. You can reach out and go, hey, just send them an email and say, hey, how would you like to introduce me to the greatest game on earth, right?
Yeah. Top 20. But, and also I would say, if you find yourself liking it at all, I do highly encourage trying to get a 4-player game in before you decide exactly how much you like it. Because I think it's great at 2. I've learned to love it at 2. But then when I started, same thing with the board. Once I started playing with 4, I found 2 started feeling like a step back in general.
Okay.
Especially when it's with Devin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like both, but yeah, obviously I'm biased. But yeah,
Very good.
No, a lot of fun. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. And everyone, until next time, I hope you have a good one.